Hey guys, it's Kaylee from K-Books and this is my July wrap-up post, and I didn't read that many books. I read about 10 books, but that's not many for me. I usually read a lot more than that a month. I usually read about 15, but this was quite a slow month. I had graduation and interviews and stuff like that. So I'm going to go through the ebooks first. There's 4 ebooks that I read this month. The first one was Eden West by Janelle Stalder. This is the second book in the Eden series, the first one called Eden, and I gave this one 5 stars. I thought it was brilliant. I love this series. Janelle is a good friend of mine, and I loved her for sending me the arc as soon as it was ready, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was great. It's about this boy. I won't say too much because I don't want to spoil the first one, but the series is about a boy called Aiden, and he is a normal human boy and he gets transported to this world called Eden to help them fight because they think he's a warrior, and to help them in this war that's going on between the king and his brother, who's now sort of gone into the mountains to sort of fight his brother, thinking that he should have been king. And that was the first one, and in this one he's gone back to Eden, but nobody knows why. He's not sure. He's been there for very honourable reasons, and I loved this book. I love that you get to meet a lot of new characters in Eden West that you didn't see in Eden. You'd heard of them, but you hadn't seen them, and you saw a lot of Wolf in this one, who's my favourite character. I absolutely love him, so I loved this book, and I loved how much more of Wolf that we got in this book, so I loved that. I gave that 5 stars. The second one that I read doesn't actually have a cover because it was an arc, but it's Endlessly by Kirsten White, and it's the 3rd book in the Paranormalcy series, and I gave this 5 stars as well. I really enjoy the Paranormalcy series. It's got a bit of everything. It's got vampires and werewolves, fairies. It's got a bit of everything, and I love how light-hearted the series is. It's very light-hearted and funny, and this is the last one, and I really loved it. I thought it was a great end to the series, and yeah, I don't want to say too much because if you haven't read the series it'll spoil it, but it's a great series and I really enjoyed that. I thought it was a great ending to it. The next one was also an arc, so it doesn't have a proper front cover on my Kindle, but it was In Between by Tara Fuller. This is the first book in the Kissed by Death series, and I got this for review from Entangled Publishing. I loved this book. I gave it 5 stars again. It was fantastic. It's about this boy called Finn, and he's a reaper, and he's not allowed to have a relationship or anything with the humans, and there's this girl who's been on his list twice, and he saved her twice, and because he loves her, and it's so good. I really loved it. I couldn't put it down. I thought it was fantastic, and I'm really excited to be on the blog tour for In Between, so my review isn't up yet on the blog, but it will be up soon. I think August sometime. I can't remember the date, but yes, I loved this book. I thought it was really great. And the last ebook that I read this month is Arson by Esteban Vega. I finished this about 2 days ago, and I gave this one 4 stars. I thought it was really good. It was very, very slow at the beginning. It's about this boy, and he thinks he's cursed. He can control fire. He can burn anything. It's he doesn't like it because he's a danger to others, and he can hurt anyone. So he sort of distances himself from everyone, and is very much a loner. Until this girl moves in next door, and she wears this mask all the time, won't let anyone see her face, and it's about their relationship and how he starts sort of coming out of his shell and building a friendship with her and their problems. I really liked it. They're both very troubled teenagers, and I loved sort of figuring out what had happened to them in the past and what was going to happen. It didn't have very much action in, and I'm very much an action-y kind of girl. I really like books with action in. So that was what disappointed me a little, but I've heard that there's a lot more action in book 2. And the ending had quite a bit of action, so I'm really looking forward to reading book 2 and seeing what happens next. I read a couple of paperbacks. One of them I don't have, so I'll do that one at the end and add a picture because I've learnt it out. But one of the ones I read this week is Debutantes by Cora Harrison. I gave this one 2 stars. It was really not my thing. It's a historical novel, and I haven't really read a historical book before. I got this for review and it sounded pretty good, so I wanted to give it a try, and I reviewed this for Misty at Bookaholics Book Club, but it ended up not being my kind of thing. I was bored through most of it. I didn't like some of the characters, so it definitely just wasn't my kind of thing, and I don't think I'd read much historical in the future. I have a historical book for review that I can't wait to read, but it's sort of like a mix because it's like a modern day person who gets transported back into time. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one, but pure historical like this kind of book, definitely not my thing. I read Sweet Evil by Wendy Higgins, and I gave this 5 stars. I loved this book. It was absolutely brilliant. I absolutely loved it. I was very much in a reading rut because of one of the books that I read, which is the one I'm going to show you next actually. This saved me from that reading rut. After I read this particular book, I didn't want to read. I'd sort of lost my faith in all good books because I thought it was so terrible. And I didn't read for about a week afterwards, and then Tara from Tater's Tall Tales was telling me about this book and how much she loved it, and I had this on my shelf, so I decided I'd pick it up and give it a go, and it definitely saved me. It was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. It's about this girl, and she lives with her adoptive mum. Her mum died giving birth to her, and her dad is in jail, I believe, and it turns out that she is a Nephilim. Her dad is, he's not the devil, but he's like a demon, I think. I believe it's a demon. And then she meets Caden, and he's Nephilim as well. His father is the demon of lust, I believe, and it turns out that she's special because her mother was an angel, and she's the only one who is the offspring of a demon and an angel. I thought it was brilliant, and I'm really, really sad that the second book in this series hasn't been bought. The rights haven't been bought or anything, so we don't know when it'll be published, but I really hope that they sort that out soon because I can't wait to see what happens next in this series because I thought it was fantastic. The book that ruined books for me for a while was 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. This is positively the worst book I've ever read in my life. I gave it 2 stars, but thinking back, I really think I should have given it 1. I don't understand what the fuss is about. It's the worst book ever. I think the writing is terrible, the characters are terrible, they're completely unlikable. I think I gave it the 2nd star because at the end I started to like Christian a little bit more. But, oh, I hated Anna. Oh, she just frustrated me so much. She's one of those characters where I really wanted to reach into the book just to punch her. I hated her so much. I hate this book. It's the biggest load of crap I have ever read in my life, and I don't understand why everyone's going on about it. Of all the brilliant books out there that are brilliantly written, this is classed as a bestseller. I do not understand it because it's the biggest load of tripe I've ever read in my life. One of the books that I don't have, I had it on my Kindle but I deleted it because I wouldn't read it again, is 50 Shades of Gravy by Jenny Rick. And I didn't really rate it. It's a very short parody of 50 Shades of Grey, and I just thought it was quite funny. It was quite childish. I think a lot of people with childish minds like me would think it was funny. But yeah, I liked it, but I didn't bother rating it because it literally took me like 10 minutes to read. So I didn't really rate it or anything because it was so short. There's 2 books left that I haven't mentioned, and I'm so torn between them. They were both 5-star ratings, and I want them both to be my book of the month. I always choose one book of the month, but I can't decide this time. The first one is Deity by Jennifer L. Armentrout. It is the 3rd book in the Covenant series, and it was the best book I have ever read in my life. It was absolutely fantastic. Before Deity, I always said her Lux series, just here, was my favourite series, but I can't say that anymore because Deity was phenomenal. I was freaking out for the whole last 100 pages, wondering what the hell was going to happen. I can't say what it's about because everything I could possibly say about this book would be a spoiler, because everything in the first 10 pages I was like, oh my god, I did not see that coming. Everything that I say could be a spoiler, but it's absolutely fantastic. It is my favourite book of the year so far, along with this other one that I'll talk about in a minute. I loved it. I spent the last 100 pages freaking out, and just when I thought it might end okay, it'll end fine, no cliffhanger, the most shocking thing happened, and I was in tears, hysterically. I could not stop crying at what had happened, and I'm dying for the 3.5 novella, Elixir, and the 4th book. I can't wait. It was fantastic. So it is my favourite book of the year so far, so that's why I need to give it as my book of the month. But this morning I finished this book, and it's positively the best contemporary book I have ever read in my life. So it's sort of all fresh in my mind, and it's just so epically good that I can't not have it as my book of the month. And that book is Pushing the Limits by Katie McGarry. I cannot believe how brilliant this book is. I'd heard a lot of good things about this, but I was not expecting it to be that good. It's about this girl, Echo, who had an accident, but her mind has blocked it, so she can't remember what exactly happened. All she knows is that she woke up in hospital and she has these scars on her arms, and everyone tells her that it was her mother who did that. So she's going to counselling, trying to remember what happened to her, where she meets Noah. He's the typical bad boy, who everyone will love because underneath he is the sweetest guy ever. I can talk about books forever. This book rendered me speechless, which is very, very difficult to do. It was so good. I couldn't believe how brilliant it was. My favourite contemporary young adult book was Perfect Chemistry by Simone Alcalez. It is now this. This is so much better. I still love Perfect Chemistry, and Simone Alcalez is one of my favourite contemporary authors, but Katie McGarry is my favourite contemporary author now. It was fantastic. The writing was amazing. I read this in one sitting. I could not put it down, and that doesn't happen to me often. I might say, oh yeah, it was really good, I had to keep reading, but there's only a handful of books where I've had that feeling that I literally can't put it down and must keep reading until I've reached the end. It's one of those unique books that you don't find very often, but when you do, you just devour it because you can't put it down at all. And I just loved this book. It's one that I will read over and over again, but I'm not a big fan of the UK cover, so I am ordering the US hardback because it's beautiful. And this was just so phenomenally good. The review is up on my blog now, so I'll leave a link to my blog below if you want to check it out. All my reviews are spoiler free because I hate spoilers, but this was phenomenal. So Deity and Pushing the Limits have to be both my book of the month. The first time ever I've chose 2 books for my book of the month, but I couldn't help it because Deity is my favourite book of the year without a doubt, but this is my favourite contemporary book ever, so I had to include it as my book of the month because I loved it so much. Books I'm going to read in August. I am actually taking part in a review cleanup challenge which is hosted by Vicky at Books, Biscuits and Tea and Celine at Nike's Reviews. I took part in this last time they did it, but I failed and I only read like one or two. I have an insane amount of review books, so you can tell because this and those up there, they're all for review, and they're just the hard copy books, they're not my ebooks. I will be reading some of my ebooks. I have My Super Sweet 16th Century by Rachel Harris, which I got for review a few days ago, which I'm actually starting tonight. I have Neophyte. Ones I will be trying to read the most will be The Pledge by Kimberly Derting. I've heard great things about this. It's dystopia, and I absolutely love dystopian books, and it's been on my shelf for ages, so I definitely need to get to this. The Demon Trappers series, I have all 4 here. I haven't read any of them. I got them all for review from Macmillan Publishing, and I've heard amazing things about this series, so I will definitely be trying to read all 4 of these during my challenge. I'm hoping to read The Selection by Kira Cass. I've heard mixed things about this, but Julie from Buckaroo Jew, she loved this book, and we do like very similar things, so I'm hoping that I love this book. The cover is like so pretty. I will also be trying to read Whisper by Chrissy Geary. This sounds like such a sad book, but I will be reading this very, very soon. It's quite a short book. It's 265 pages, and if I can read Pushing the Limits, which is almost 400 pages in a day, I'm sure I can get through this in a day. It's quite short. It sounds really good. I believe it's about a girl who, she gets meningitis, and she loses her hearing, so she becomes deaf, and it's about how she deals with that, and it sounds really sad, but it sounds really, really great as well, so I'm really looking forward to that. And the last one I'm hoping to get through, I'm hoping I get through more of these. I'm going to try and get through as many review books as I possibly can, but for sure the ones that I really want to read are these ones I'm showing you. And the last one, Alice in Zombieland by Gina Showalter. I was so excited when I received this for review. You have no idea. I am a massive zombie fan. I love zombie books. I think they're fantastic. I'm actually planning to do a zombie month in October on the blog for Halloween and everything. I have a lot of zombie books I haven't read yet, which I really, really need to read, and I'm really looking forward to reading. I'm thinking of doing a zombie month where you'll read however many zombie books you get read, and each one you submit a review for or something like that, you can get entered into a giveaway. So I love zombie books. They're just fantastic. And what I really love is classics with a new twist. I'm really into my classics with a twist, because some classics, although I can read them, I've read Wuthering Heights about 7 or 8 times. I love Wuthering Heights. I think it's fantastic. But some classics I really can't read. I've tried to get into Jane Eyre about 4 or 5 times, and I still haven't got all the way through it. So I am really loving when they bring out the classics but with a twist. So for them to bring out Alice in Zombieland, I cannot wait to read it. I haven't read anything by Gina Showalter. I've heard mixed things about her adult series, but I don't let that really affect me. I'm very excited for this book. I believe it's out in October. And I'm definitely going to try get this read in August for my challenge, because I think I love this. It sounds like something I would love, and I can't wait to get started on it. So that's the last one I'm going to be definitely trying to read. It's possible I might not get all of them read. I might get some of the others read, but those are the ones that have been on my shelf that really like jump out at me and that I cannot wait to read. So that's what I'm going to hope to read in August, or at least hope to read some of them in August for my challenge. I won't be reading any of my books. I'm only reading review books from now until at least September, because I just have way too many. I think I have about 40 ebooks for review as well, but I want to focus mainly, apart from the ebooks that I have like for blog tours, which I will definitely be reading, I'm going to try and focus on my hardback books and get those caught up on first before I attempt to do the ebooks. So if I just turn this around, you can see that very top list over there. That's all my ebooks for review, and the second one's just the ones I've bought. So you can see you can't even read them, the writing's that small to fit them all on. So I am going to try and get some of them read at least to catch up. So let me know what you read this month and what you're planning on reading next month. Let me know if you would be interested in joining in the zombie month. I don't want to have to organise it if nobody's interested in taking part, so let me know and leave me a comment. So thanks for watching. Bye!